Welcome to everyone. Thanks very much for coming to listen to us speak. Horizon is a school that prides itself on differentiation. The main reason for that is because we're not a selective school. So our classes, every single class has got a wide range of ability. So for us to perform as educators, we've got to ensure differentiation happens. So that's going to be the main focus of what we're going to be talking about to you. So first of all, I'm going to talk about differentiation in general, and then Angie's going to speak to you about differentiation in early years, and then Rehab's going to talk to you about differentiation in Arabic, and hopefully at the end we can take some questions. To start off, I mean, differentiation, from where I'm coming from, on my teacher training, it was one of the sort of cornerstones of it. I think it's a really important part of education, and I'm hoping that some of the things you hear us talking about are some of the things that you do, and I also as well, we'd welcome anything that you've got to say, because we're all about ideas and getting new ideas on differentiation as well. So anyway, so we'll continue. So the first thing I did when I knew I had to talk about this was I typed in educational differentiation defined, and the first hit up was Wikipedia, and it said that, which is just blurred. Alright, it's just far too wordy. So I kind of read it and I broke it down into this. What differentiation means is, as a teacher, making lessons, tasks, learning as varied as possible to accommodate all the different abilities and learning styles in the one room. I think not losing those who find it challenging or also needing repetition. Okay? Avoiding boring pupils to death who require challenge and already have the knowledge and skills, and create an environment of choice and self-assessment where pupils know how and when to find challenge or support. So actually when you read all of that, you suddenly realise differentiation is quite a challenge, because you can have children that could be working 1-2 years above their expected level and 1-2 years below their expected level in the same class. So you could actually be teaching mathematics, say, to someone that's perhaps it's a class of 9-year-olds. Some of the pupils could be have a mathematical age of 11-12. Some of them could be as low as 7-6. And you've got to kind of engage all of them, and in every lesson make it as interesting as possible, and hope that at the end of the lesson everyone's got something from the lesson that they didn't have before. So I think it's quite a difficulty for a teacher, is getting all that in there. So this is an example of a maths plan that I taught last week. And I want to talk through the differentiation in it. So the actual learning objective was to use efficient written method to multiply pairs of numbers. So really it's just a calculation lesson about multiplication. Now there's some pupils in the room that have already got a great deal of confidence with multiplication. So the key for me in this lesson was to make sure they weren't bored. And at the same time, there's some pupils didn't have a comfortable method at all, and it was getting to the point where they knew what they were doing as well. So I split the lesson into a must, should, could. I was hoping that everyone in the room would be able to pick a 3-digit number from a range of numbers and a 2-digit number and multiply them together to create a column method. I was also wanting perhaps some of them to have a go at multiplying 3 or 4-digit numbers by 3-digit. And then finally, this was the extension part of the lesson, I really wanted some of my more able students to be looking at multiplying 3-digit numbers to 1 and 2 decimal places. Okay? And how I did this was I set a challenge activity on a large poster, and I set a challenge group off, and I wanted them to be able to feed back to the rest of the class on how they actually did that calculation. So this group here, they went and got started, and I kept these 2 groups on the carpet with whiteboards just to talk about method. When I felt confident they'd had that explanation and they were good with it, I set them off to have a go at it independently. And then I brought the cuds to the carpet and spent a bit of time with them, making sure there were no misconceptions, making sure they were on the right track. And then I would spend a bit of time drifting around the room, sort of covering various challenges that the pupils were having along the way. And I didn't have any help with this lesson, and there was 25 children in the classroom. all pretty much in a different place. What's good is, in my mind, is with the CUD students, is they were working on large posters, they were making mistakes were happening. We photograph that and we print it, and it goes in the book as evidence. And there's nothing better than seeing your more able students making mistakes, because that means reaching problems. They're making mistakes, that's where learning happens. So yeah, it was really nice to put that evidence in as well. So that was the lesson. So these are some of the things that we do as a school. You've got a bit of an idea about how a lesson might happen at Horizon. These are some of the ideas we might use in various subjects to support various pupils of varying abilities. So we encourage the use of writing frames with less able students. We also encourage use of concrete resources, because some children are kinesthetic learners, they've got a different learning style, so we encourage them to use concrete resources where possible, maybe counting blocks, things like that. We've obviously embraced adult support, whether it's the class teacher, a TA, helping parents. We open our doors to parents, and we do work quite hard before a lesson to make sure the parents know exactly what we're working on and what our lesson objective is and how we want to go about it. We organise the classroom based on ability, so we have class tables, groups, and within the room each table might be working at a different level. Sometimes, as a support, we have mixed ability tables, and sometimes we have mixed pairs as well. So you might have two children of completely different ability working together, one will be supporting the other. We use talk partners, we do a lot of drama, a lot of oral rehearsal. I've already mentioned mixed ability partners, and we also have specific individual learning targets for children. If anyone was in the talk just from desk just before us with the pupil conferencing, we also do that once a term, and we make sure that the pupils know exactly what their next target is. Every pupil in the school knows what they're working on next, something that they can't do or they find a challenge. So we ensure that that happens with individuals, and they're displayed in the classroom as well, and they're displayed in the books, so the pupil is always aware of that target. We set clear expectations on what we expect from a lesson, and obviously as well, if someone's struggling, that expectation might change. Feedback in exercise books is often differentiated as well. So a more able pupil might just get a comment saying, next time I want to see this. A less able pupil might have a more scaffolding piece of feedback, where it might actually give it, say it's about speech marks, the actual feedback might say, you need to use speech marks like this and show them so they can see it. And then obviously as well, feedback can even become something you have to say. Our classrooms are set up right through the school where pupils can access everything they need. So dictionaries are very, very available. Calculators, even computer equipment, things like that. If someone needs to quickly check something on the internet, we've usually got enough IT there to allow that to happen. So children are used to actually not coming to you and going, how do I find this? But just going and helping themselves. So we foster that independent learning. As a teacher, we also support pupils more able. We have questions we have in mind for different pupils. So the key questions for lessons, we're thinking about questions that are challenging, but we're also thinking about questions that might help those that are struggling with the concept a little bit. Quite often having a no hands up lessons, so those pupils that always put the hand up and start to dominate, take that out of the equation, because you just fire a question at people, and you give them a bit of a warning that it's going to happen, but it stops children being complacent, it stops them thinking that the more vocal in the group are going to do all the answering. It kind of keeps people on their toes a little bit. We also, I touched on in my maths lesson, not all students need to get the same introduction. If you know someone's heard it before, they don't need to hear it again, especially if they understand it. So setting them off on something and keeping those that need a little bit more support back is great, because what you don't want to do is bore the students that already know it. I think that's not good. We believe in pacey lessons, so basically the opposite of what I'm doing now. five minutes on the carpet, done. And then let people have a go. Let them make mistakes. then come back and spend a bit more carpet time. But sitting for too long, I don't think really fosters great learning. Not everyone's a brilliant listener, and you know, you're stretching a whole group of people by making them all become auditory learners. That, to me, doesn't seem right. We've obviously got a very good SEND department that supports with our less able, and pupils with pupils are able to access their targets. The other thing that we do have at the school as well is we're, and this is a trial at the moment, we're looking at our more able students and creating a timetable block where they actually do challenge time in the subject in which they're more able. So at the moment we have a Year 5 writing challenge time, a Year 6 challenge maths time, and we have a Year 3-4 science challenge time. And then the PE department and the music department and the art department also take some pupils. And that's happening once a week. And we're actually, last year we reviewed the levels of the students that were attending those challenge times. And you know, KHDA come in and look at these students and go, what are you doing for the more able? And actually, most of those pupils made 3 sub-levels progress, some of them 2, which is sort of expected. That's a British national curriculum.
I think differentiation in early years is probably the easiest phase to differentiate. There's so much that you can do with the children. You can make it fun, you can make it exciting. It's kind of the age where people expect you to make it fun for the children. You're allowed to have a big mess on the floor, they're allowed to have the shaving foam and the Play-Doh, and although I think in our school we have it throughout, generally people like to keep it to early years, so it's the easiest phase to differentiate. The revised curriculum says that learning and development should take place with these themes running throughout. So we want every child to be unique, we want them to be resilient, capable, confident, self-assured. Everything that we're giving the children, all the experiences that we're giving them, that's what we want to develop at the end of it. We want to develop positive relationships. I think nowadays, in particular with computers and with parents working, a lot of people don't build those relationships at home. So it's up to us to help to develop that in the children. And we need to enable the environment, so making sure that the experiences that we give to children respond to the children's needs. Everybody feels valued, all of their learning is valued. The characteristics that the revised EYFS says need to run through are these 3 things. We want children to play and explore. We never want to see all of the children sitting down doing the same thing. We want children to be creative, to think critically. We don't want to see every child with a worksheet doing the same thing. We want the adults interacting with the children, and again, the children being active in their learning. So by addressing the children's readiness, interests, and learning profile, we can start to differentiate. So the readiness is looking at where the children are working. What level are they working at in their reading? How are they performing? How do they learn best? How independent are they? How dependent are they on you as a teacher? What are their interests? What do they enjoy doing? And how do they learn best? Are they kinesthetic learners? Are they visual learners? Are they auditory learners? From there, we can start to differentiate, and we can look at these 4 things. So differentiating the actual content, what you're covering, the process, so how the activity is carried out, the support that you are giving to children, the product, so the outcome. Are they drawing you a picture? Are they making a video? Are they doing some writing? Are they doing drama? Are they performing a song? Anything that you know is the most effective way for that child to show you what they can do. And the learning environment, so the resources that you're giving the children. Are you giving them a frame to write with? Are you changing the atmosphere? Are you playing music? Are you having it quiet? Are they going to be indoors, outdoors? Again, looking at how that child will learn best. Differentiation is not a new concept. It's something that's always happened, but now with bigger classes and teachers being more aware of children learning in different ways, it's really, really important that we are differentiating and that we're making it effective for our children. It's not expecting less of your struggling learners, so you're not just having lower expectations of the children that can't do the work. with you setting it at the same level. We're not looking at all the children doing the same work and just giving the more able children extension activities. So, like Craig said, you have to start at the starting point that the children are at already. If a child can write already, don't have them doing the same activity as a child who is still working on their fine motor control. And it's not intended to replace whole class teaching. So you're in early years particularly, you're still doing your whole class introduction. Again, you'd only have them on the carpet for 5-10 minutes. And then you need to go off and make sure that those activities are clearly differentiated. When you're planning for differentiation, you're looking at the learning opportunities, the provision, the resources, the activities, and working together as a team. At our school we have 4 classes in early years, so they all work together as a team doing that. Make sure that you're providing a range of equipment so the children can extend themselves and they can choose things so they can actually differentiate for themselves. So you're putting the activities out, but at the same time you want children to be able to take it further. If you've got number cards in the sand, think about how you could do that. So some of your children can only count up to 10, some can count up to 100. You can put addition signs in, takeaway signs, things so the children can actually extend the learning themselves. Once you've introduced the concept to the whole class, the independent activities can be in mixed ability groups, but your focus group should really be an ability group, so you know that you can work with the ability of those children. If you have a mixed ability group for your focus group, it's going to be a lot harder to extend the children and to bring the challenge into that. The early years age bands make it, again, a lot easier to differentiate within early years. So the age bands are there as your starting point. When you look at the children coming into your class, you're looking at which age band they're working within. But then it really, really clearly lays out, here's an example, the things that children can do before and the things that they're doing after. So if you have a child who's working at the 30 to 50 age band, and you have another child who is older, but not as capable, you can take them back a step. This is a sample of our continuous planning, so it's our long-term planning that we do. We have one of these for every area of learning in the classroom. So we'll have a malleable one, we've got one for water, one for outdoor learning, the writing area, everything. And when we're planning, we look at the 30 to 50 months, 40 to 60, and then the early learning goals. From here, the teachers will then set the classroom up according to their children. So you may have a class where all of the children can do the 30 to 50 month activities, so you'll only put out the 40 to 60 or the early learning goals. But as a team, you're planning for all of those things together. From there, we do our weekly plans, which is where the teachers will take the objectives that are relevant to their children. We'll then put them onto here. We put optional activities because obviously anybody who works in early years knows that quite often you'll give the children resources and they'll take it off at a completely different tangent. So the column at the side is to write notes on what the children actually did. Those are the activities that we would plan for, the things that we want to provide the children with, and then what they do with it is what we'd write notes on the side to annotate our planning. And finally, I think the most important thing in early years is taking that time to observe them. Look at what they're doing, look at what they're doing with the resources. Is the learning fun? Is it hands-on? Are the children enjoying themselves? What are they doing with the learning that you've provided them with? And this is just a picture of some differentiated learning in early years in our school from last week. The children were given dinosaurs in the small world area. They had Play-Doh on one table, they had shaving foam, and they had some salt and glitter. And the boys took the dinosaurs into the shaving foam, turned it into a snow world, and the ice came in, the dinosaurs were playing in the snow. This little girl took the shaving foam into the Play-Doh, made the Play-Doh really, really soft, and then started making outfits for her dinosaur. This little girl was pouring the salt and glitter. They were meant to be writing their name, doing patterns, but she started pouring it and making potions and mixtures with it. And then they found some boxes outside, they painted them, and they took the dinosaurs in there and made it into another dinosaur world. So again, just going with what the children wanted to do.
I am Rehat Khalifa. I'm the head of Arabic and Horizon English School, and I'm going to speak about differentiation in Arabic. And I still remember when the head teacher asked me for the first time, Rehab, are you sure that you differentiate or you highlight differentiation in Arabic? And I thought it's just a new concept. It's not. And if I want to add to correct what is differentiation, simply if you look at your fingers, are they the same? They are not. If you look at each other, we are completely different, not from outside, but also from inside. And I felt that we as Arabic teachers, we need to really to research and to, to find out more about differentiation. Although in my all previous years in school, I never ever had an opportunity to be exposed to differentiate work. We all, the teacher gave all us one work to achieve it. So I really, at that time, I started to think about differentiation. So we can also, the children they can produce more good work, same as in other subjects. So in Quran there is lots of ayahs and surahs, and in Sunnah also, which is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they admit that there is differentiation, but we didn't think about it before. Excuse me if you don't understand Arabic, but the ayat says وَرَفَعَ بَعْضُكُمْ فَوْقَ بَعْضٍ درجات. وَرسول علي بن أبي طالب, he said حدث الناس بما يعقلون أتحبون أن يكذب الله ورسوله, which indicates that the peoples are different in understanding, in way of thinking, in all these things. The most important part in Arabic is curriculum. I can see all the teachers, or most of the Arabic teachers, they are struggling about curriculum, and they say, oh, how can we differentiate? The curriculum is so and so. I think curriculum, it tells us what to teach, but we need to know how we teach. So differentiation, if we take the curriculum in Arabic, for example, I'm going to show you an example of how to differentiate in curriculum, because as I know, when we meet other teacher, Arabic teacher, and we discuss, our main problem is the curriculum. And I have heard this, oh, but the curriculum tells us to teach this, how, and it is not suitable, or not, it's not fitting the children. So here an example, for example, this is for year 6. We are restricted by, for example, these books from the KHDA to teach about, for example, I choose this lesson. It is about folkloric character, Juha. I think if the Arabic people here, they know him very well. It's very well-known character. So I didn't restrict myself with this curriculum, because if you read the story here, I leave the book for the Arabic teachers to have a look at it and read it. I modified, so I think we as Arabic teacher, we can modify the curriculum according to the students' levels and interest and styles. So some of them are older, some of them they need to see, some of them they need. So for example, this is an activity which I carried out yesterday with my year 6 students. I wrote the story here, and I wanted them to organize this chronologically but through reading. So I wrote it depending on each student's levels. I give each two, for example, one part. But the easiest one, and no more adjective and no more complex sentences for the children that I know this is their ability. And the other one which is complex and so on, and need you really to be in the language, you have more vocabulary and so on, I give it to the higher ability group. And the activity was really gone well, because now I did this, they understand at the end that they want to understand this story and to also read it, because it was reading activity. So you as a teacher, you can play with the curriculum and modify it, because they don't tell us how to teach, they tell us what to teach. This is the curriculum, but at the end the product will be also successful and same. And also you could, as you know, some of them they need, and also we make it a video story. So differentiate in the way that you teach this story. Differentiate not only this story, the curriculum generally. We as Arabic teachers, we need to use different styles, different ways, different techniques. I think this is what we need. So here, this is what the activity. and set the children according. It's a video, but I think it's not working very well. I won't see, because also it needs the student to be alert. Oh, is my turn coming next? And there is words being given, like for a second, what happened? So, you know, it's really went well. And also I'm going to speak about differentiation in classroom. Here are some pictures of the students. They look that they are doing the main task, the main frame, but they are doing it in different ways, according to their, you know, levels and their interests. For example, if I want them to achieve a writing task, this child, for example, he likes to use his hand. He is not good with holding pencil, and it is a second language, Arabic. I'm not going to, you know, push the child or force him to write. So with pencils, as long as there is other ways that he likes it. And these children, for example, they also need help. Give them magnetic letters to help them to write their sentences. These children, they are fine, for example, they can use the pencils and they write. So we need to give the task, but in different ways, and, you know, through different activities. And also we believe that there are different styles of learner. Some children, they need to learn through watching videos. Some children, they learn better through movement, as we know. And some children, they learn better when they use their hands. Some children, they learn through play. Because maybe it is something in our mind as Arabic teacher, or play. No child can learn through play. But I discovered that, or I found that from my personal experience, that some children, they really learn through play. So I have to be thinking all the time. I'm always thinking, how can I let these students to learn better in Arabic? So these children, for example, they are using different toys but making different words and so on through play. This child, she likes to write also with her hands, use her hands. Because if I give you now a pencil to write from left to right, you will find it difficult. It is Arabic, and for them to start to write from right to left, it is not easy. Especially I'm working with children from age 5 to 11, up to age 6 or maybe 10. So here, as you can see, some children, they also learn through movement. For example, if we speak about the alphabet, Alif is a straight line from top to bottom. If I can write here, I will show you just another technique. This is Alif or A. This is Ba. This is Ta. Some children, they are not ready to learn this. But see, if I told them, show me Alif, straight line from top to bottom. Show me Ba. It is this shape, as you can see, and it has one dot where below. So they might use this one for the dot. Show me Ta. The same shape, as you can see, and it has how many dots? 2 dots on top, and واحد, اثنان. They make the dot. And so on till Ya. But I know the time is limited. If we put Sa, it has 3 dots, but the same shape as Ba and Ta. So let us make it. This is the shape, and then واحد, اثنان, ثلاثة. Even you show them the right way that you form the letter. It doesn't need to be like the way that we learn, the traditional way. Oh, Ba. Go from here, straight up, and to some children, they will not understand you. So as much as we differentiate in the way that we, explain to the children the lesson, I think better understanding we are going to see in this learning. Also here, this is year 6. Also when we create or bring real to class, if they are, for example, studying about topic restaurant, let them to have their own, for example, restaurant in school, and let them to practice shopping and buying, and the real thing that they need it outside. I do not restrict myself to the curriculum. Okay, the curriculum here there is one speaking about the restaurant, but try, as I said, modify yours, and you will see that the students, they learn better, and they were so happy when they see the real things and create their menus, and they know how to contact outside when they go to restaurants. This is what they need. So I think we as Arabic teachers, we need to realize this to help these children to learn better, because I can see lots of complaints from parents, from the children, Arabic is boring. This is why Arabic is boring. And maybe some Arabic teachers, they will say, oh, what's that? I don't like it. Okay, I'm working in a British school. This is the way these children learn. Also, I'll give you another example. Alif ba ta sa, we know the song. Alif ba ta, excuse me, I'm not feeling well. So, when I try to change the tone in Alif ba ta, sa, Jim, he, kha, the rap, the children, they love it and they learn it this quick. Alif ba ta. Because they don't go to Alif ba ta, this is Arabic tone. So when we understand these children, we really
Lovely.
yeah, they can learn more and better in Arabic. This is also an example of loss differentiation. Like in year 6, the work was the same, the main frame was the same, but also you as a teacher, when you understand your students better, you have better understanding about these children, you differentiate the work, but at the end, as I said, it's not matter of you expect lower achievement from these children. But these children, they love this way. These children, they can make conversation and they can be more creative and they can, but these children, for example, their ability is limited. Also, we have another problem. We receive children from UK or outside the country, new, and they are still in year 6. But these children, they might have only 2 years doing Arabic. We also follow the graded levels, the same as the British in Arabic. This means that we as Arabic teacher, we need to change our views, and we need to follow the way that they, they learn and they achieve better. As my colleagues said, independent children also. We need independent children in Arabic classrooms. How can I make my students or my children independent? For example, and this will happen a lot in Arabic. If I give the children a task to do, and me as a teacher, I expect them to struggle or to need help, instead of asking me, oh, Mrs. Khalifa, what can I do? Leave the board, ready, or the classroom ready for them. Prepare the environment to give them the chance to be independent learner, because it is a second language. Sometimes I also observe my other colleague doing other subjects like math or English or whatever, because the language it helps the teacher to to make the chance big for the children to learn independently. But for us, if you are Arabic teacher, you feel what I'm doing, what I'm saying, because we suffer because their language is limited. But when you give the children a task and you as a teacher, you have to expect what they might struggle of, and then you prepare the environment for them to set them and send them work independently. Also, I do believe that the central job of teacher is to maximize the capacity of each student. This is an example of year 6 also work, and we were studying about the 4 seasons, and here I know that these 2 students, they can do more than this. So they did a research in Arabic and a PowerPoint, and it was really great, and it amazed me as a teacher personally. Because I didn't say, oh, it is Arabic, it is their second language, they can't do a PowerPoint presentation of, but they amazed me because they went and searched and asked their parents, asked their neighbors. They told me, I said to them, from where you get this information? Oh, Ms. Khalifa, our parents is Arabic. We ask our neighbor, to help us. We ask a friend of mom, Arabic friend, to help us. So they will never ever forget this information, rather than I just throw the information at them. Some students also, they love to think and be creative and adding their sentences and through project. What I mean and what my message is to the Arabic teacher, why we don't think about Arabic fun. I want Arabic to be fun in all school, and this is really my real hope. And thank you very much.